Hey everyone, welcome to the Intermediate to Advanced English playlist where you can find some videos that will help you master your English level. Our first lesson is dedicated to question formation. So, questions are extremely important in our communication, so if you want to become a fluent speaker, it's obligatory to master question building. So it's not a secret that if we want to make a question, we have to invert the subject and the verb, like in these examples. Can I come over to you tonight? Are you free next Sunday? But there are also negative questions. And I have an example. Why didn't you like the movie? So how do you think what it means? What do we want to say with this negative question? And the right answer is surprise. We want to show surprise, like, oh, why? How? How come? Why didn't you like the movie? It was awesome. We show our surprise. And this example, isn't this a beautiful place? This means that this is obvious. We ask this question not to get the answer. We ask it just for someone to agree with us. Like this. Look at this picture. Isn't this a beautiful place? I think it definitely is. So just imagine that you're going camping with your best friend in the mountains, and you and your friend are on top of this mountain, and you say this sentence. So it's obvious that the view is stunning, and so your friend agrees. It's obvious. Sometimes it's not necessary, and it can be just a rhetorical question, so there's no answer required. So in questions, we can also use prepositions if necessary. And what happens? So the preposition always goes at the end of a sentence. Let's take a look. What are you thinking about? Not about what. So we no longer put the preposition at the beginning. Or in a dialogue, it may look like this. What are you doing? Oh, I'm thinking. What about? So we don't actually need to say the full sentence, what are you thinking about? We just say what and the preposition, what about? So the next type of questions is rather difficult for some students to get, and these are subject questions. Let's take a look at the example. Who wrote this book? So the question word is at the same time the subject of a sentence, and we have like a usual structure of an affirmative sentence like this: subject plus verb. Who wrote this book? No inversion. So it's incorrect to say who did write this book, because who is already the subject. All these questions that we've just talked about are called direct questions. And to be honest, this is not our level because there is something more difficult, which is called indirect questions. For example, could you tell me what time the store opens? This sounds polite, first of all, and if we want to make an indirect question, we usually say, can you tell me, or could you tell me? But be careful that in the second part, you don't use any inversion. So it's not a question structure anymore. You say, what time? This is a question where it's okay. The store, this is the subject, opens, the verb. Let me show you a little transformation. Where is the station? This is a direct question. Could you tell me where the station is? This is an indirect question. It sounds more polite, and let's pay our attention to the verb. Where is the station? So it goes before the subject. This is the inversion. Could you tell me where the station is? This is a normal structure of an affirmative sentence. The station, the subject, is the verb. So another case when we use indirect questions is when we have an introductory phrase. For example, I wonder, I'm not sure, I can't remember, I want to know, do you have any idea? Let me show you an example. Do you know when the train arrives? So we use an introductory phrase, and then the second part has a normal structure, which is subject plus verb. The train arrives. So in all these examples, you had question words, such as, I don't know, what, where, when. But what happens if there's no question words? So let's take a look at this example. Do you know, blah, 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 Mark is coming to the party? So what do we have to put here? If. Do you know if Mark is coming to the party? So let's take a look at the transformation. Has she enjoyed the date? This is a direct question. I wonder if she has enjoyed the date. This is an indirect question. So let's take a look. You have no question word here. No what, who, where, when. And in the indirect question, so you use if. So to sum up, if we don't have any question word, we use if or sometimes whether. There's just a slight difference between them, but we are not gonna go into it now. So that's pretty much all, and now I'm gonna switch into Russian and offer you something useful. Итак, получите дополнительные материалы. Получите презентацию для повторения, банк с заданиями по этой теме и ответы к этим заданиям, чтобы себя проверить. Для этого вам нужно написать боту по ссылке в описании или в закрепленном комментарии. Не забываем, что это всего лишь урок. Он может вас чему-то научить. Но чтобы привнести эту грамматическую тему в вашу речь, вы должны практиковаться. И надеюсь, этот банк с заданиями поможет вам это сделать. Как минимум на бумаге. Thank you once again, and I hope to see you in my next videos. Goodbye!